confessors and fans of SOA. Dina, aka Christina, my
Hey,
lovely
hey, hey.
co-host. Now, I had the idea to take this ride all over again a couple of months ago when we were on a different live together. I can't remember what it was. We were on a
Well,
live,
it's
and
been
I'm
so
like,
many.
well, yes, we do so many together. And I'm like, you know what? I want to take this ride over and recap and review it because this show never got the respect it deserves, not on, social media, nor getting any awards for anything. Have you believed this show never won any awards, was
I
nominated?
can't believe it. I think a lot of people will sleep on it, and I'll be guilty of that because I was like, oh, this is just some biker show. It's just some biker show. And then my friend, he was telling me about it, and I want to say it was like almost a year or something ago. And I started watching it when I was working night audit and stuff like that. And I was just binge watching it every day. Hey, Kamisha. I was just like,
Hey,
2 or 3 episodes at a time, lunch break, all night. And I got through all 7 seasons. So I understand why it was such a good show. I wish everybody could appreciate it as much.
yes, because there are so many things that goes on in this show. It's a whole bunch of a lot. And can you believe yes, it's perfect. Thank you. Because I saw that you said you was redoing tomorrow. And then I just happened to look at my emails. I was like, oh snap, she sent it again. Really
In
big?
the building. We'll
Now,
probably have her on as a
show.
guest. We're going to have her on as a special guest appearance or something.
Yes, she said she will already come through. You better. Okay? You better.
Because this is something
Now,
you don't want to miss.
say what?
I said, this is going to be something you don't want to miss.
This is not something you want to miss. And can you believe last week was 14 years ago since this show had started and premiered? 14 years. Yes, you better. You better. And I can still say that this is by far my favorite show that I have ever seen in my entire life. Point blank, period. Yes, love, love, love SOA. Yes, 14. 14. And it's an
That's a
absolute
long time.
travesty that this show never won any awards or nominated or anything. Like they were totally just jabbed. Now, the creator of the show is Kurt Sutter, and he decided to do this when he was a writer for another show that was on FX. So FX is his home basically. And and so he just decided, like, you know what, I can do this, I got this. And I love to call him a sadistic genius because this show is very sadistic. So when I refer to Kurt Sutter, I refer to him as a sadistic genius. And he plays Otto on this show. So let's get into these characters. Allow us to reintroduce our sons, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get it up here. Let me see where we at.
Oh, really? B says I could tell you why I was never nominated. It probably promoted too much bad stuff.
So let me move the overlay now so I can see my beautiful co-host. So here we are, the gorgeous and luscious and everything, Mr. Jax Heller. Woo, this man right here, this man right here.
So handsome.
Man, this actor is played by the one and only Charlie Hunnam, y'all, and you know who he is. And he is everything. Now, Jax, at the beginning of the show, starts off as the vice president, right hand to his stepfather, if you really want to call him that, Clay Morrow. And he is just everything. He has done right by the club the whole entire time. His father, John Teller, was a co-founder of the club, the Redwood Originals. He is an original first nine. who died tragically in a motorcycle accident, which the storyline of that is portrayed a lot throughout this series. Yes, he is fine, fine.
Fine,
Fine,
fine.
fine,
With some
fine.
extra fine on the
With
side.
an extra side on the front and the back and the side, okay? It showed a lot of white people that don't like to, yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yummy is exactly, yes, yummy. So so he eventually becomes president at some point throughout the series when Clay is overthrown from the chair
Mm-hmm.
and the gavel because of so many corrupt things that he did.
Ooh,
But
Clay was, ooh, he was wrong. He was
don't
wrong as
get me
hell.
straight over
He
here.
was wrong as two left feet. He was wrong.
Clay ain't no kind of good, and we definitely gonna get to him. So let's get to
Mm-hmm.
everyone so we can start talking about everyone all a bunch together, shall we? So
Mm-hmm.
next we have, there we go.
The
There we
devil,
go.
girl. The devil.
Now this man right here is nothing but the devil, and he is played by Ron Perlman, who is just the luscious thing ever, and luscious thing ever. And what did he play in? God, what was the show he was in? Hellboy. And I don't know what it was about Hellboy, but I love me some Hellboy. Hellboy could have got it. I don't know something about him in Hellboy. But this is the man that played
He's
Hellboy.
got that older, distinguished, I'm gonna be on the next episode of Lifestyles and the Rich and Famous kind of look.
Yes, 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 yes. But yes, so Clay, he starts off as president and he gets overthrown at some point because of the betrayal and all of the mess that he caused the club. And I feel he actually did it because the whole point is he was mad that Jax took over the club as president. And he didn't want to see Jax succeed. Period. And so all of the shit that he did caused him to eventually meet Mr. Mayhem.
Yeah, he was doing some real shady business. And it's kind of like when you're doing that, the consequences of when you get caught. So make the most money or do the most whatever what you gonna do in the meantime, because when you get caught, it's a wrap. And he knew that. He knew the rules and the bylaws, and he was jeopardizing the club. The name of the club. He was jeopardizing the people in the club, and he had to pay the consequences.
Right. Now, Clay is also a original First Nine, but he is not a co-founder. And he was best. His best friend was supposed to have been John Teller, but how much of a best friend could you be when your best friend died and then you run off and marry his old lady?
He been eyeing that old lady for a long time, honey. That wasn't nothing new.
And you can see there's a picture out there of showing Gemma and John on their wedding day. And of course Clay was the best man at their wedding. And you could just see the look in his eyes, like, it was the lust for Gemma and like the underground hatred for John, I feel. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what it is, but that's why I would have always have loved if Kurt would have done, like he teased before, a series of the original nine.
Mm-hmm.
How that all came, a prequel to the Sons of Anarchy.
It's still time.
I mean, I wish he would. I really wish he would. That is like the one thing, a lot of the fans wanted, still ask for it to this day, once in the blue moon. And it should have, could have, need to happen.
Yeah,
But
it still can. I mean, look, we just got the prequel to the prequel for Game of Thrones. You know what I'm saying? So it's very possible that the original nine could, and then yeah, I think that would be totally awesome.
I mean, he hasn't done anything since. He did the what is it? The something bastard. And it only did one season because I don't think people were, yes, he's a very good actor. Yes, a prequel would be just freaking dope, period, point blank. I mean, it's got what it takes. Yeah, he's an awesome actor.
Actually like to see the interaction between
Love you
John
too.
and Clay, and I'd like to see if Gemma and Clay was doing the sneaky link before they, hooked up
Yes, from how some of the storyline has been portrayed, I believe so. Because even at the point you see, Gemma knows, what really could have happened to John Teller on the low. Because remember in the beginning, at some point, not quite the beginning, but Bobby ends up giving Jax, or was it him, or Jack may have just found, he finds a box in the storage and it's got
Mm-hmm.
letters and all types of things. When he goes and finds John Teller's journal, he finds a lot of other things, and that's when he started to question, could have something else really happened to his dad, to his
But
father,
yeah, and so
you
I think
know.
the interaction, the lying, the sneaking around, the John trying to figure out what's going on, which is probably what led to his demise because they was getting too close to getting caught or got caught, and they wanted to get rid of him before he told the rest of the club and ousted Clay and sent Gemma packing to wherever she came from. Like all of that, I want to see all of that.
And that's the thing, yes, because and that's what happened when Gemma had left. She came back and she was back with Clay. And I was like, okay, what happened? But you also realize, see, when Piney knew so much, and he's
Hmm.
always known something was up.
Yep.
He has let it be known. And, later on in the series, he lets Jax know, like, look, this is the thing. And that's why Clay killed Piney. Because Piney
Hmm.
was about to let it all come out and let it all
Yep.
be.
Well, and he just don't know he did let a lot come out before, you know what I'm saying? I think Clay thought he was getting rid of him, and he hadn't said nothing yet, but he had already said enough.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thing. And I was like, I mean, Piney was damn near about to be on his deathbed anyway. Like, you
Hmm.
ain't have to do that man like that. The way that he killed him was just, oh my
He could have
goodness.
just stepped on his little oxygen cord. He ain't have to do him dirty like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, he really went through the lengths of following him and everything up to where he was, and just, killed the cold blood point blank, right up close and personal. Like, that was too much. And that's, I
No,
think,
that
what
just.
happened when he
But
decided
you
to.
know what they say: desperate times call for desperate measures. So Clay's back was against the wall. So a calculated person, if they've got time before their secret comes out, they trying to get the moving pieces into place and fall together. But when things are moving at a rapid speed that you're not prepared for, then you got to make quick on the cuff, off the cuff, spur of the moment, heat of the moment decisions, and you don't think shit through.
Well, see, that was the thing, and I felt that had he been able to kill Tara, he would have never killed Piney. But see, Tara was the original. Remember, he tried to kill Tara, kidnap her, and
Mm-hmm.
have her killed, because Tara had the letters and everything that she was about to show, that she was going to show Jax before it all came down. And remember, Gemma ended up coming to her office looking for him, and that's how that whole thing had started. And
Man,
that's when her and Tara and Gemma just became.
the only thing I mean, you see it in like all the shows and the movies, but I'm like, really? Y'all doing that so much? Y'all doing that much dirt that y'all got to kill people in order for them to be quiet?
It's a
You
dirty
you
world
don't
with
want to. You're willing to you're willing to commit a felony to cover up something that isn't even a misdemeanor.
well, they're so used to getting away with it. They so used to killing people. You just go dig a ditch and it's done and over with. It's that simple for them. And then you got to remember, they always had Wayne, the chief of Charming, on their side, on their payroll. And
Hmm.
even though he didn't know so much, he couldn't, because he would have to do something about it. But he knew that they was doing a lot. But and
Hmm.
he knew that, and they knew that he would help them cover up, even without him knowing the full entire thing. You know what I'm saying?
But I
Like,
mean, but then again, like I said, there's justified and unjustified. Somebody messing with your money justified in their world, not mine, in their world, justified. But somebody leaking your secrets because you on some foul shit is not justified.
Of course not. It's never really truly justified, but in the son's world, it definitely is.
I
Okay, let's
hate to
go.
sneeze on one of them on a bad day.
Woo, Lord.
Woo! I've always loved
Right
her
here.
ever since Married with Children, and she gives what needs to be gave.
She gave it all. Now, this is Gemma Teller, the matriarch, and as Juice will call her, the gatekeeper, and that she is. Gemma is played by Katie Seagal, who we first known to love her from Peggy as Married with Children. And for those who don't know, Katie is the wife of Kurt Sutter, the creator of this show. So that is her man. That is his old lady in real life. Now, and I love the fact that they work together. I love the
I
fact that
know,
he gave her a role. And it wasn't the fact that he just gave it to her because she's his wife, but she could not nobody else play Gemma Teller.
but I read an article somewhere that she had to actually audition for the part.
Oh yeah, he made her audition. Oh, definitely. Definitely. You had to make sure, but to just get the audition itself, like what's up. So
Yeah,
so
I
that's
don't
what
think
makes
I
it all
can't
so
think
great.
of anybody like that's gritty that could get gritty like she did. I can't really think of anybody offhand, right? Like, I don't think anybody could have played this role as well as she did.
No. No, she just fits it to a T. Now, of course, like we said before, Gemma is the widow of John Teller, the co-founder of Redwood Original, Sam Crow, First Nine. Um, she's now married to Clay Merrow, or was, should I say? But so yeah, and the mother to Jack Teller. That's mom's right there. So she holds the club down. Like nothing comes between her and her family. Like no, there is nothing that can come between her and her family. She goes to the bat for them. She kept her whole entire sexual assault rape a secret
Mm-hmm.
from the club just so nothing would happen because she was scared of the retaliation of them retaliating. And that
But then
was
she used it to her advantage later on when she said it was the Asian guy, or that that particular thing that she said was the Asian guy
no,
or something.
she said the Asian guy was the one who killed Tara.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. The Asian guy, and then poor guy, they just beat the dog snot out of him.
Accept her lies. Yes, that is the truth. Now that is another thing. At the end of the series, Gemma gets gutta. All of the lies, all of the deceit, especially the whole time of, of keeping the lie that she killed Tara, like, come the fuck on. Like, she knew, but she knew if she told Jax, that was it for her. She
Well,
knew
he found out, and it was it for her.
Well, she knew, but she knew that she would meet Mr. Mayhem had that not had she not had to do what she had to do. She was about to kill Juice. Juice was about to kill her. Like that's how messy it got. For they both helped cover it. She did it. Juice helped cover it up. But they was really about to kill each other because they thought each other was going to tell on each other opinion on the other person. That's
Mm-hmm.
how petty this got at some point. That is what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. First of all, rule number one, don't do no crime. Rule number two, if you do a crime, don't get caught. Rule number three, if you do a crime, do it by yourself because you can't trust nobody out there.
But remember, though, she didn't plan on it because after she had already killed Tara and she's just sitting there soaking in what she just did, that's when Juice came in, saw, forget the cop name, but we'll get to it. And,
Mm-hmm.
he comes in, he's about to call it in, and Juice just shoots and kills him. She had no idea. Juice took that upon himself.
I
But
mean,
when
I totally 100% get it. And then at the same time, if she would have just sat back and waited for that little piece of information to come back later on in regards to Tara, she should have never went over there messing with that girl to begin with.
But like she said, she thought that, but that wasn't her fault because she had got the information that Tara was about to snitch on the club. So she just had the wrong information
Mm-hmm.
or didn't get the right information in time because
Yep.
she was gonna, but she had no idea that Tara and Jax had squared that whole thing away and it was gonna be what it was. And she
Right.
never got that information by the
Yeah.
time
And
Tara
but
got
when
the
and then when she
on the
did, she was too far deep in to confess. Because
exact.
how would it look like, oh, you and Tara got everything squared away? I killed Tara, you my son. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like, I'm gonna just let the chips fall where they may and hope I live. That's basically where she was at.
Well, see, that's what she was hoping because when she killed Tara, of course, she didn't know. So she thought she was protecting her son. She thought Jack
Mm-hmm.
would have been proud of that. But when she found out, like, oh, snap, I fucked up. And that's when the lies started because she couldn't
Mm-hmm.
take
Well,
it.
she
She
was
could not
lying
tell
way
her
before
boy
then. She
that
was just adding some extra lie on the side because Jim had been lying for a long time.
oh, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
she just
But
she just like the what's the salt man? She just sprinkled some more lies and
so
sprinkled some
hey,
more lies.
yeah, I mean, the most of the lies that she did was for the protection of the club and all of that. But then it got personal, the lies to protect herself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just funny because it got to a point, at the beginning of the series, Tara and Gemma did not get along, point blank,
Mm-mm.
period. And then they
But
got to a place,
they grew to like each other a little bit, like
they
tolerate
got
each
to
other
a
if
place
nothing
where,
less.
yeah, once her and Jax finally got married, yeah, she was like, okay, she's part of my family now. She is my family. And she took her under the wing, like you're his old lady. You're when I can't protect him, I know that you will. And so she saw that she was good for him when she finally became his old lady and then his wife. So she had no choice, basically. But Gemma has always been about Gemma, always wanted to make it about herself. She is the matriarch. She is the first lady, the only lady, and she's not used to another woman really being part of this club but her.
But see, that just leads me to believe we can talk about this on a whole nother day with the mama's boy issues or whatever. Like, first of all, you went from your husband to another man. So it's not like you were acting like Jax was your boyfriend, man of the house or whatever. So the fact that you were so jealous of this woman having your son's ear in him listening to her like he used to, I'm assuming listen to you, they all needed therapy.
Dysfunctional family at its finest at this point.
Dysfunctional, they are in the dictionary. If you look up dysfunctional, that this whole family with a few others was very dysfunctional.
Very much so. It's just sad. But it's been dysfunctional since the whole thing of whether or not if Clay killed John or not, for real.
I think he did. I think. Look, this is what I think. My personal opinion is when we get to the prequel, hopefully one day, Clay was so smitten with Gemma that he wanted her to himself. He was probably always jealous of John. He wanted his seat. He wanted his woman. He wanted everything that he encompassed, right? So they said the only way for us to be together is to get rid of John because you remember several times they said John never let anybody work on his bike, right? And his bike was in the shop being worked on by somebody, but they gave him the bike back. So somebody messed with his bike in the club.
Yeah.
Everybody else loved John. So either Gemma and or Clay messed with the bike, and that's what led to the accident. And they made it look like an accident. So then I could play the grieving widow. You could play the grieving friend. We found love together, and now boom, we're together. Even though we've been together for 6 months, a year, or however long prior to this. But I do believe that John was this close to finding out what the hell was truly going on, and they got rid of him.
Definitely.
So
Absolutely.
Gemma
But
was probably the ringleader, and Clay was the worker bee.
and see, I feel in the whole killing of him, I believe Clay. Okay, I how can I put this? Gemma knew, but I felt that she didn't want that to be the case. But I think she knew that was the case. Because it had to be Clay. Only because I say this because you know when John got killed, he wanted the club to go into a completely different direction.
Exactly.
And
And that would have gone against what Clay and Gemma wanted for the money. So here it is. Clay and Gemma are together behind the scenes talking about the direction of the club. So they almost about to get caught. They tired of sneaking around. And B, John wants the club to be mainstream. You know what I'm saying? He tired of being the underground mixtape, for lack of better words. He wants to be on the pop billboards, you know what I'm saying? Or a crossover, country, pop, rap, R&B. He want to be out there to everybody and look wholesome and clean. And they still doing dirty shit. So they got to get rid of him for a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I mean. I don't know.
That's how I feel. But I feel it was mostly just Clay because, like I said, all that was in the first 9 was Clay, Bobby, Piney, John, that we know of. Those 4, as far as I can believe, and some others. And Homeboy, who was also part of it, that we meet in season 6 or 7. But at that point, Clay was the only one who felt that type of way because Bobby sure didn't. And Piney, the whole time, always knew that something was corrupt about him. And that's why always he tried to, put little bugs in Jackson's ear, like this is what's really going on. And so when you think about that, Clay is the only one. And Clay is the one who ended up becoming president. And Clay is the one who initially took everyone out to do what they were having to do as far as the guns and all of that stuff. Because, once Clay came and everything started about, it came about drugs.
Can you highlight this last comment by Lady V? Because that's a good statement right now.
Yeah, I did highlight it earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed it.
In my opinion, it don't even matter if Clay took John out or not. Jack gave Clay everything he deserved from himself and his daddy. And that is the truth.
And I'm thinking maybe Jax thought he wasn't ready. He wasn't man enough. He hadn't spent enough time in the club. He was young. You know what I'm saying? Still sowing his wild oats. Because in the beginning, Jax was bed hopping.
Heck yeah. All the freaking time. With all them crow eaters. All the crow eaters. So it didn't matter. And then even when he was with Tara, when they were start having their dispute, he started sleeping around on her. And all of that stuff, sleeping with girls. Especially that girl's like she wanted to do him with his cut on. And I think that I ain't even go, I ain't even go lie. I would have asked him to leave the cut on too. So
no, I'm sorry. I don't care about all that. You got to be completely naked. Take all that hot mess off.
At least start with it on. At least start with it. Let me pull you on me by the cut.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, what's the one girl that got her nose broke? The porn star.
Yeah, Colette.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I'm like, I was.
What Jack was a DD? Hold on, I'm trying to figure out what is a DDMF. I think I know what the F stands for, but I don't know what the first 3 letters stand for.
I need to know too, Lady V. What?
Yeah, just put the DD, just put the DDM.
Yeah, we nasty. But yes, I'm gonna have to ask you to let us know what DDMF mean. I have something in my head, but I need to make sure that's
right. What y'all share with me because I'm a little slow.
I should have had a drink for this. I didn't know it was about to go like this.
Girl, I told you. Look, I told you. I got me a fresh bottle for tonight.
Hold on. My bottle is right at the table. Just a second.
All right. We gonna pause for the calls. If you don't have a drink in your hand, please expeditiously go get you a drink, a shot. If liquor's not your thing, go ahead and roll up, fire up something. But we want y'all to feel like we feel about the Sons of Anarchy. We love the show. We are excited to take the ride again. And we hope that all of you can join us as we go through the 7 seasons of Sons of Anarchy. So, if you got a drink in your hand, let's cheers it up.
Yes, we are very excited to be taking this ride again. So, who's all watching? If you know anyone who is down to take this ride, let them know Monday night at 10 o'clock. We are taking this journey over. The ride starts Monday at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time.
You know what we should do? We should see if there's some Facebook groups and make sure, we post on Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, girl, when I told you I have been promoting. Girl, I have been in like 4 Facebook groups.
Oh, okay. Bet. That's what I'm talking about.
I ain't lying.
You know what you're doing.
On Twitter. Girl. I've been posting it on TikTok. I am not playing.
All right, you ready? You ready to toast to Gemma with all her lies, and then we're gonna move on to the next character.
Yep, hold on, let me get my mix on.
See, you still an amateur. I drink mine straight. We gonna get you to graduate before we get to the final season.
I got a whole nother live to do tonight. I can't get.
I know. I'm just messing with you. But before we get to the end of the 7 seasons, we gonna have you graduate.
Oh no! I still got my own shot glasses over here. Monday night, my shot glass will be filled.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers up.
Cheers.
Mm-hmm. All right.
There we go. Okay. Now that we have went through the matriarch and her life, so many more, let's go on to the next. Who we got here?
Tara.
Oh, Tara.
I was so mad when her hand got cut.
When you mean when Clay tried to kill her.
Well, yeah. And that was some collateral damage of that, yes.
Because that's what that was. Clay tried to kill her. That's where that had happened was. Okay. So Tara is the first off starts as just a girl that her and Jack used to be together way back when.
I think high school, wasn't it, or something?
Yep, in high school. And when he started getting in the midst of the club and everything, it started getting a lot for her. She left because she didn't feel that, if she stayed, she would be able to do what she wanted to do. She left. She became a surgeon and everything. Like, she got her shit together and was an amazing woman.
But I didn't never get why the hell she came back.
It was show. So she came back from what it was show. She came back to Charming because she knew Jax would take care of the business. Remember when she came back to Charming, she had that man who was stalking her.
And
that's right. He ended up killing him for her.
I remember that.
Knew that he would. She knew that if she came to Jax and told her situation, he would protect her and do whatever he needed to do to protect her by any means necessary. And she was right because he did.
Well, because see, I look at, things a little differently because it's coming back to me now since, I did just watch the seasons a year ago. But I remember when she came back, I was thinking to myself, Lady V's like, Jack, stay away from her. And I was thinking to myself, that she needed to stay away from Jax. I was thinking Jax needed to stay away from her because I felt like, we all know that one person in our hood or our crazy cousin, uncle, or whatever that you really don't want to set off. But if worst case scenario or last resort, you're going to go to this person to help you. So I felt like she was using Jax to help her, and then they started a relationship. I honestly don't think when she came back, it was, oh, I love him, I miss him, I want to be with him and be in his presence. It's like, okay, I'm gonna move back here. This man gonna follow me here. Jax feels some type of way about me. He gonna handle that, and then I'm gonna run off to wherever it is I want to run off to. But they fell in love and had kids.
Right. And I believe that's where, and Gemma sniffed that. And that's
Yes.
why she had the problem she had with Tara, because she felt the same thing. That's why they bumped heads so much at the beginning, because she was like, you want to just try up your ass back here after you don't left my boy, broke his heart, and now you want to come back and have him doing all of this shit, trying to protect your ass because of your fucked up shenanigans that you going through in a whole nother city. But you want to bring that mess here on my doorstep to my boys and my club? Like, no.
Yeah, I really felt in that season after he took care of, oh boy, I really felt like, oh, okay, I'm gonna give you some pity sex and then I'm gonna leave.
Mm.
That's how I felt about her. Like
But
I like her because she's wholesome in a way, but has some flaws, and she's got some skeletons in the closet or whatever. But I just really felt like she was using him to get the job done. Like, you should have just paid somebody and stayed in Chicago or wherever you was.
basically, but she fell in love with him, had a baby, and that
Two.
was what it was. And then it's like it came to a point where she I think she kind of missed it or started to enjoy that lifestyle that she thought that she hated. Or maybe she realized, she never really hated it, or period.
Yeah, the adrenaline rush, the money, the adventure. You know what I'm saying? Especially like if you're a surgeon, and this is nothing against surgeons, but you're a surgeon, you get up, you scrub, you go to work, you scrub in, you save some lives, you come home, you read the paper, blah, 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 whatever. Your life is kind of like mundane and on a schedule. So here she's getting the best of both worlds. She can go to work and save lives. And as long as nobody knows about her outside connections, nobody's saying anything. But then you go home or late in the evening, you got the club that's popping. You know what I'm saying? You riding the bike, your man is fine, he's hot, everybody wants him, but you married him. You know what I'm saying? There's an adrenaline rush. There's a I'm that bitch attitude that, I caught the biggest whale out there, that type of thing. So I think for her, it was kind of like a fantasy world or something or other.
I could say a little bit, yeah. Because, that adrenaline, that fantasy is what gets you going. But it wasn't always, still, it wasn't even a fantasy for her, because before she really decided that she was going to stay and be, that girl, be with Jax, it came to a point where she became like the nurse for the sons, because they would call her up to come do this, that, and the third when somebody got shot or needed medical attention and couldn't go to the hospital.
That's how they locked her in.
Like, do what you got to do, Doc.
That's how they locked her in, because the first time she did it, if memory serves me right, which we'll go through as we take the ride again, the first time, I don't think it was necessarily her choice to say yes or no. It was like
she felt like she was indebted because of what Jax did for her. But
they still made it difficult. Like, you gonna do this? You know what I'm saying? Like, putting that pressure, on her. And a lot of times people act like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. There was once upon a time I was dating a guy. He loved this song. I claimed to hate it just to irritate him. But when he wasn't there, I still played the song. So what I'm saying with Tara is you can put up this front like I'm not about this lifestyle. I don't want to do this. I'm being forced to do this. But behind closed doors, you love the lifestyle. You love the adventure. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for me watching her, I felt like secretly she loved everything that was going on, but she was trying to keep her wholesome image.
True. And but then it became a time again where she was ready to take that wholesome image back. And that's why she ended up leaving Jax. And when she went to jail, that's when she was like, you know what? Maybe I ain't about this life.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm about to go to jail. I'm about to lose my license. I can't take care of my boys, and all of this stuff. And she really was that girl because, when she came back, even though Jax wasn't with Wendy, but Wendy had just had a baby, and and she was helping nurse Abel back to life, because Abel was born with that because she had it in her system and all of that stuff. Because Wendy
The
was a
drug, he
mentor.
was born addicted to drugs.
Yeah, exactly. And so I should have had a picture of Wendy. We'll talk about her, when it starts back. But Wendy, played by Drea De Matteo, woo, she played that part too. And if y'all know
Yeah,
her, she
Lady
was
V
from
said,
Soprano.
I have to agree, she secretly loved it because she stayed even after catching him with that girl in his bed.
Mm-hmm. Of course. She was in too deep at some point, but she got into it real quick. And
Lady V is on point with us. Miss Lady V, make sure you like, subscribe, share if you haven't already, and make sure Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or whatever you share. And please be sure to join us Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, because we about to get it in.
and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell another friend to tell a friend, girl. Because
Exactly, because
we try this house to be lit. We is on this. We is on and popping, okay? So make sure you put it out there to the groups you're in. Let us know, girl, please. It's going down. Okay, so let's continue. Who we got next?
how many characters we got tonight?
I did them all. That's why we're gonna have to speed it up a little bit because we
Okay.
already 42 minutes in, and we only our fifth character. We got Tig,
Ooh.
we got Piney, we got Bobby, we got
How many slides you got? Look at the number at the bottom. How many slides you got?
Never it's in the video. I didn't do the slides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
here we
Yeah.
have Opie. Oh my God. And if y'all know how it is, when I think of Opie now, all I think about his final time, his final moment, laying the pipe. That episode, laying the pipe, was gruesome. I will never get over his death. Okay.
But his dedication. Oh my God, his dedication.
He was loyal to Jax no matter what. He was loyal to the club. He was a family man, but he was loyal to the club. He suffered a lot going in back and forth in between on whether he should get back into the club business and everything. And he was, being a weller or doing all these other types of jobs, not making the money he needed to make.
Yes.
And his wife was really against it. But when it came down to it, that money looked good. And he could make some good money to take care of
and
his
I'm gonna have to quote the Players Club. Let me get my mic ready and clear my throat. All money ain't good money.
Ain't that the truth?
Because I loved him. I loved him. But I did understand his conflict between I'm gonna go work at the mill or the mine or whatever it was, welding, whatever he was doing. But he saw that money could take care of his family in a much better fashion. And even though it wasn't flashy, a lot of times in other shows, they buying Mercedes and they getting great big houses. Like he just wanted to put food on the table, get his kids to college, buy toys and Christmas. And, he wanted the basics, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And after the incident, you know what I'm saying? His family was taken care of. That's the one thing I can say about this show and motorcycle clubs and certain things we see on TV regarding issues like this. It's like, okay, I gave myself to the team and the family, gets taken care of, or there's trust funds set up, or you get like some type of lump sum money and the funeral services paid for or whatever. But it's just sad that where they lived, the financial opportunities of employment were as such that he had to go down that road, because he was definitely smart. He gave a lot. He was definitely what's the word I'm looking for? Gave a lot of insight to the club, very smart, and he had potential. You know what I'm saying?
He has
So
potential.
the fact that his demise was done the way it was done, it was very sad.
Yes, it is. And it's like for the fans, for the viewers, we had no idea that this was about to happen. It was a
Mm-hmm.
shock to all of us. The boys went into jail all together, and we didn't know what was about to happen. And I will still say this: that should have been Tig. It should not
Mm-hmm.
have been Opie. That should have been Tig. I'm sorry. It should have been Tig. Period.
Yep.
Point blank. Because he was the one who really got them into this mess. He was the one who did this. He was the one that did whatever he did for let them get caught. That should have been Tig. It should not have been him because
No, because Opie was really, as far as the intricate work of, excuse my language, fucking up on the street, that was not Opie. Opie was like, I'm here to do the work. I'm here to do this, that, and the third. We're going to fix this. We're going to fix that. I'll be the muscle, blah, blah, whatever. He never started anything.
no.
So that shouldn't have been on his shoulders
No.
to sacrifice himself so that everybody else in the club that was in prison could rest easy. That was not his responsibility.
But I feel that when that did happen, Opie was at a point in his life that it was hard for him. He had lost his wife, which was also Tig's freaking
fault, because he shot up the car and didn't look in at first.
But then again, it was Stahl, because if Stahl would have never planted that in, that was Stahl, that bitch Stahl. That bitch Stahl. But anyway, that would have never happened. But like I said, he was dealing with that. He was just dealing with trying to be a father to two young kids at that.
And now the kids is orphans.
He was battling a lot within his head. There was a episode before that, where they were having a shootout, and he was just like, it was almost at the point where he was just putting himself in the way to be killed. Like, he was really battling emotionally. So I felt that he wanted to do this, not because he
wanted out,
but simple fact of the point. Like, he felt he just wanted to do something and prove himself all over again. And I think that he got into his own head because he didn't have to be the one. He volunteered.
Well, this is what I think. In this moment with him, I think he killed two birds with one stone. One, he showed his loyalty to the club, and two, it's like how people do suicide by cop or whatever. It was like he was ready to take himself out of this mess. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew he would never be able to walk away. He knew he would never be able to be like, all right, y'all, peace out. I'm taking my kids and I'm finna move to Nebraska and live a quiet life. He knew that was never going to happen. So it's almost like, okay, I'm going to take one for the team. I know they're going to make sure, the club is going to make sure that my kids are taken care of, XYZ. And I'm showing loyalty at the same time. So it's like, I can get everything I need. Just like you said, he was putting himself in harm's way. to get taken out. He was like, I can beat these dudes up and maybe win, or if they take me out, then it's gonna solidify that I was a soldier, and they're gonna take care of my kids and be done with it. Because let's face it, every now and then everybody gets to the point where they are fed up. Now we do different things like switch jobs, you know what I'm saying, move to a different city, you know what I'm saying, move to a different house or apartment or whatever, and we switch our things up because we're not in that type of life. So for him, it was like, it's not like I can quit the club and move down the street and live happily ever after. Because y'all remember, in the dude that quit the club and was still, claiming or whatever, how they
Well, that
burnt.
was because he fucked up though. He
But
had
he,
fucked up. They
but he
had
was,
the club.
but he,
That was
whatever the case may be, he thought he was still gonna walk the streets free with the Sons of Anarchy tattoo, and they burnt it off his back.
right. Well, that was because he had did something fucked up within the club, though.
Right. But see, but Opie, I mean,
Jackson
right.
have let
But Opie knew he wasn't just finna, this ain't Mayberry. He's not gonna be like bye bye club and still live in the same city and walk the same streets.
Well, I think it was because, even though he didn't want the club anymore, if that's what he felt he didn't, there's no way he could live any other life. The club was all he knew at that point. And that's why it was so hard for him, because it's like he was walking away from life, the only thing that he knows at this point. Because
a lot of these men that are in the club, their daddies was in the club, their granddaddies or whatever was in the club. They don't know anything different.
True. Exactly. When you grow up, that is all you know. And that's why Jax went out the way he did. That's all he knew. What else could he do?
Right.
All right. Who we got next? Let's see. Oh,
Tig bitch ass.
Oh my goodness. I love and I hate Tig.
Me too.
In the beginning, especially in the beginning, like, the whole thing with Opie's wife, like, really messed me up. But I felt so sorry for him when he had to watch his daughter being burned alive.
Oh yes, that was so bad.
That was gruesome. That was crucial. I felt for him.
And part of me thought, because of the way he felt, I almost thought he was gonna jump in there and burn to death with her.
Me too. But if he could have, he probably would. But they had him chained.
Yeah,
so he couldn't move.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how they made him just watch. He couldn't move. He couldn't do nothing. He just had to watch his daughter burn.
But he started that chain effect, though.
True. That he did. He absolutely did. But it's just still, don't take away the point that, see, Pope didn't have, that was named Pope. Pope didn't have to see his daughter, die or whatever. He just got the news of it. But Pope was a motherfucker too.
Yes.
To make him do this. And that's why, and Pope is responsible for the whole thing that happened in jail where Opie got killed. Like, Pope was, he was one of the Anarchy's like worst enemies to have. Pope was no joke, but I was so satisfied when he did die. And Tig did get his revenge because he got to pull the trigger. Mm-hmm. Which almost was his demise, but Jax made sure that.
And let's not talk about, Tig was tripping one night and hit on Gemma.
Oh yeah, that was a mutual thing because Gemma, because they was looking at each other and they just had their moment in the closet or in the room or whatever. But that was that one time, and they was both on some messed up stuff at that point. Mm-hmm. But when I saw that, I was like, what is this? Yeah, I was really taken aback by that moment. That was a crazy
I can't wait to take this ride again because, it's like bits and pieces coming back in my brain.
Yes,
I be like, did they? Didn't they? Because I remember the hallway scene and she was in her little robe and I'm ready for this.
They did, because I think they was going at it. He was hitting it from the back, and then someone had came. I don't know if it was Juice who came or who had came, but someone had came and interrupted the action. Yeah, that happened. Mm-hmm.
Oh, watch out now.
If I remember right, that happened. But at some point, Tig ended up kind of growing up, kind of getting his own hit. And I think it was after Opie had died, he felt like, okay, that could have been me and that should have been me. So I need to get my shit together.
Right.
Before it is me next time. And, he became trustworthy. Him and Jax had their beef for a minute or whatever with the whole bid and all of that stuff. But at the end, it was cool because, when Jax had Chips become president, Chips chose him as his vice president. So, and as you see, Tig now, he reprised his role on the Mayans MC, and he is active. I was so happy to see him when he got on the Mayans MC, and he is still the active vice president. So, and as we heard, Chips is still alive and he is still president. So, but we'll never see Chips reprise his role. We'll get to him when we get to him. So let's move on. I think Chiz might be next. Oh, and he is. Chiz is next.
I love his accent.
Shout out to Really Be TV because she said she loved her some chips. And this
I love his accent. I love when they had went and did they little dirt over there, and they was trying to, secure or get rid of the connection, all that, whatever. We gonna talk about it later on.
What's it start? Bedlet, something with a B, but yeah, and it was the Ireland.
The Ireland crew. We just gonna call them the Ireland crew. Because I don't remember what it was, but I loved his accent.
Later, but yeah. So that was really something. Chips is played by Tommy Flanagan. Oh yeah, and Tara's played by Maggie Siff. Tig is played by Kim Coates, and Tig is played by Kim Coates, and Chips is played by Tommy Flanagan. You now see him on Tommy's Power Source of Power, and that's where y'all probably might recognize him from if y'all ain't hooked on to Sons of Anarchy. I do remember that he did do an interview and he said something along the lines of that he will never reprise his role as Chiz because he works on a real show now or something like that. He totally dissed Sons of Anarchy, and I didn't like that.
But who plays Opie? Who's the actor that plays Opie?
Ryan Hurst.
Okay.
Ryan Hurst. So Chips, who ends up being the president at the end that Jax gives the tag to, but he is completely loyal to the club and to Jax and everyone. He is very tame and real cool and tame, but don't fuck with him. Y'all don't want him. Y'all do not want him.
He like MacGyver. He gonna bring all kind of problems.
Yes. And he has a little history with Jimmy O'Fallon, who is one of the basically enemies of Sons of Anarchy. He's an organization. He's a real IRA. And Jimmy O'Fallon is, I believe is in season 3. We start seeing Jimmy O'Fallon. We just call him Fallon. But Fallon ended up dating or being with his baby mama, his ex-wife. And so there's a lot of history. Fallon is the one who gave him the marks on his face that you see. Now, fun fact, those marks on his face are actually real. Tommy Flanagan actually does have those marks on his face in real life. Those are real from an accident he had back in the day. So those is real. But they just brought that made that part of the story, of his storyline, of his character. So, yeah. So we see him very loyal to Jax, especially toward the end of the series. And I believe that is why Jax named him president before he died. And he is just a man we all love. Everyone loves us some Chips. So I can't wait to he totally looks different from when the show starts from when the show ends. He really grew up. He just became finer and finer as the seasons went on. So that is Chips. Okay.
Oh, Lady B said, yeah, he said he's on a proper show now, as if SOA was choplifter.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I did not like that. I did not like that. Don't,
I mean, SOA may not have gotten any awards or whatnot, but I apologize to all the cast and directors and writers or whatever that I slept on it for so long. Because once I got into it, oh honey, it was on.
yes, yes, absolute
All right,
travesty.
all right, who we got next?
Okay, who we got next? Oh, Robert Bobby Elvis Munson. Now, fun fact, him real quick, he actually had to learn to be an Elvis impersonator in order to get this role. That was a big thing at the beginning of the series. Not much toward the end of the series that he did a lot of Bobby stuff, but he was an Elvis impersonator. Bobby is the secretary of the club. He is also, I believe I think he's also a first nine. He's a Redwood original first nine. And he was just everything. It is known in the club that he has a big I don't know why they always talked about that. They talked about that several times. He has a big whatever. And that was a big thing. But so yeah, Bobby is everything. He knew a lot about the past and about a lot of things that went on. Um he's always been the one who had the most sense to be rational, to do what's right, to do things in order, to not just act on impulse. He was
Mm-hmm.
always like calming of the club. And he is just everything. Like, he is just awesome. He's like the coolest cat to me out of all of them. There does become a time where the club isn't going in the direction that he wanted after Jax had became president. He leaves to go nomad for like a year, but he ends up coming back. And when he does come back, it's very sad and tragic how his time ends on the show. Because, like I said, there is no happy ending to this show, y'all. There is no happy ending.
Nope, not at all.
Okay, I know you got to get to Ready to Love, so let's keep it
Oh,
moving.
that's okay. I'll be able to, I'm gonna take me a nap after this. I'll watch it when I wake up.
Okay, so here we have Piermont Piney Winston. He is an original co-founder of the original First Nine, Sam Crow. He is John Teller is his best friend, and he is John Teller's best friend. I know I said that about Clay, but Clay made John Teller his best friend, but Piney was John Teller's best friend. He is also the father of Opie Winston, and he is that guy. Now, he has always been the one who was never about bullshit either. He was always very hard on Opie for what he did with his life and how to go about it. Yes, Bobby was definitely a favorite character, period.
Yes, yes,
Period.
yes, yes.
And so Piney, he's the one who knows so much about the past. He's the one who knew about the letters. He's the one who knew about John Teller's journal. He knows so much, and he's never really trusted Clay because he knows. He's always had the assumption that Clay has something to do with John Teller's death, which of course he is right. Period.
Right.
But he has always forced his hand to, you know, be a mentor kind of to Jax that he didn't have within anyone else because Clay surely wasn't a mentor or leader. You know what I'm saying? He always urged Jax to do the right thing, how to go about doing the right thing. There's times where he was just fed up with the club too. But he always very sick. He's the only one who rides a three-wheeler bicycle, motorcycle actually. And his is dope because he carries his oxygen tank on it because he has the oxygen. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
why he's smoking. When he got to use oxygen, he hears smoking a cigar.
He don't
But
give a damn.
When you a son, you live by your own rules, period.
Right.
But Piney is actually one of my favorites, and he is played by the late and great William Lucking. He just passed last year, I believe it was just last year. So rest in peace to him. He played a hell of a role. He died around his wife and family, in the comfort of his own home. So it was very sad to hear about his passing, but he gave us some greatness, and forever indebted to him for that because he played the hell out of this. And again, the way Clay killed him, oh my goodness.
Trifling.
Trifling. Straight up trifling. He always wanted to do the right thing. He always stayed on the straight and narrow of how the club should be. He wanted to relive and carry on the way that John Teller wanted and intended for the club to be before he passed. And of course, Clay got in the way of that. And of course he did. He says, yeah, Piney told Jax there was another copy of the book or scripts Jax originally burned, right? Yeah, so what happened was Jax had burned it and then he took it out. But, he still couldn't read it. It wasn't readable at some point. But at the end, remember, on the very last episode of the series, he goes back to the garage and he gets the other copy and he takes that, the letters and a whole bunch and some pictures and burns all of that before he continues on his quest to kill everybody in Charming and meeting his own demise. So, yeah. So that's what happened. So, yeah. So, and those were the letters, that he told Tara about, when Tara was, after Clay tried to kill Tara, he goes to Tara and lets her know, like, this is what happened, this is what was going on. Either before or after, I'm not sure. I think before, and that's why Clay wanted to kill, because he knew too much, because he got to, because Piney had told her everything. And so Piney eventually died for trying to do the right thing at the hands of that bad man. That's what.
But he went out hard though, because he was like, "Fuck you, Clay."
Yeah, he was. He was like, "Fuck you," period. But he was a real one. He was definitely a real one, and I could see why he was John Teller's best friend, because he had a heart of gold and he always wanted to do what was right. He stayed loyal not only to the club, but he stayed loyal to John Teller.
Right.
Period. And he always wanted Opie to do what's right. And, and just like father, like son, because he stayed loyal to John Teller and Opie stayed loyal to Jax Teller.
That is correct.
That was a beautiful, beautiful thing. Just pull it down a generation. So once again, rest in peace to William Lucking. Okay, who we got next on the roster? Oh, snap.
Juice.
Oh, snap. Now.
Oh, Lord. He had so many issues.
Woo, Lord. Too many issues. Now, I love me some Juice now. I love Juice. He had a lot of...
he was stealing the cocaine. Then he was helping Gemma clean up the mess. He was just all over the place. He didn't know who to 100% devote his loyalty to. He had 5% over here, 20% over there, 15% over here. He was just all over the place.
He was, but he was definitely one of my favorites. One of my favorite scenes is, I don't even know why or how or what, but when he wakes up just wherever he is and he's stripped down to his drawers with a pacifier in his mouth and a cardboard. I forget what the cardboard said. I don't know if the cardboard said I'm the R word. I don't want to say the R word because I ain't trying to offend nobody. But they used to do him wrong. Now, he was very simple-minded, but he was very technical savvy. Like, with the technicals of anything, like, he was your man. He knew how to do all of that.
You know what? Here's the thing. Some people, and you have to learn this, but some people are book smart. Some people are street savvy. Some people are both. Some people have common sense. And for me, with him, it's like he had, you know, a street sense in some ways, but not necessarily a social sense in some other ways.
True. True. And I think it stems from a lot. He didn't even really know where he came from. He never really knew who his father was. And as we see throughout the series, he finds out that his father was a black man. And as far as the sons
And they
go,
use that against him or
mm,
against the club
yeah,
because
because
they're supposed to be purely Caucasian.
yeah, that part. And so he was scared. He didn't want to be killed by the club or have to leave the club because the club is all he knows. Also, all the members, basically all they know is the club. When you are in it for so long and you have done the things that you have done, like you can't go back. What else
Right.
can you do? What can you possibly do after you leave a club? What kind of life can you really live? And it's
I
not
mean,
that
you're not gonna be a greeter at Walmart. I'm just saying, but you're not gonna be a CEO of IBM either. So what do you do with yourself in the in between?
exactly. You just can't. That is the whole point. You just can't. There is no life after the club. Not really.
You in it to win it for the lifespan of whatever. Because after the club, what are you gonna do? You haven't worked in a capacity you could put on a resume because nobody is putting on, oh well, I thwarted a war between the Colombians, the Mexicans, the blacks, and the Caucasians. Oh, I used to haul drugs up to San Bernardino or the Pacific Highway. Blah blah blah. You can't put that shit on a resume.
Exactly. It's like you just don't. And that was the whole point of all of them. At some point they all felt that they could, stop doing all the things that they were doing within the club, and that was the point of making all the money, so they wouldn't have to do things. They all never really intended to continue to sell the drugs.
But
They all
even
never
if
really
you make
intended
all that money, that only buys you like the basics. What are you going to do, maintain? Like we were just in a conference call or something, and I was like, "Oh, we were talking about XYZ." I said, "You can't buy a Mercedes if you can't afford the maintenance." Like, yes, I can afford the car payment. Yes, I can afford the insurance. Can you afford the maintenance? You know what I'm saying? So that's trickles down over here. It's like you do all this XYZ for the club, but at the same time, can you eventually use your skills to gain other employment? No. So then what do you do when the money runs out?
and that's the thing. Even though he was in the club, Juice was technical savvy,
Mm.
and there is a job out there for technical stuff like that, but that's not what he wanted. He could have tried, and I think out of all of the club members, he could have had a job outside of that more than anything because of because being technical. That is a big thing. You're
But
like
they
trying
had
to
him sucked in. That's the problem. They had him sucked in where into the thought process of I can't do anything outside the club. For me, that was the problem of the club. Everybody that was in the club had probably numerous skills they could use in the outside world, but you're so focused on using those skills to assist the club. When the club is no longer valid, now what do you do because you haven't worked in so long?
exactly. That's the problem. But
Yep.
that just goes to show that's why when you go into a club and you're in the club, like the only out is death or jail, period. Because
Period.
what are you going to do? What are you going to do? And if you feel you
Hmm.
can't do something, you don't want to, work for somebody else unless you can work for yourself. In the club, you basically work for yourself. You do your own thing. Y'all part of a crew together. No one's trying to go and work for someone. No one's trying to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and punch a time clock while the CEO is out in Costa Rica living their best life and you just living in hell on your 9 to 5 job. And clearly, no matter what you do, you're never going to make the amount of money you did in the club, period. Because the club made a lot of money. And you can see that there was a lot of money made because you see how Jackson's house and Gemma's house was, in season 2 and season 3, in season 1 and season 2. By season 3 came around, you start seeing them have a lot more going on within their house, looking different, all of that stuff. Like the money was coming in. You could see the money was coming in just on purpose alone of how everything looked and how they were going about things. So, and that's the thing, you become addicted to that money, that fast money, and that's what it is. It's an addiction.
Money is a hell of a drug.
Period. But Juice himself, though, besides, getting his own hit about his father, again, back to the betrayal of Jax. First of all, he told Nero that Jax had him kill that girl in that cabin that Nero didn't want killed in season 6, I believe. And so that alone is when his downfall was, when he told Nero that. And then I felt like if he didn't have Jax, to be on his side or in his corner or whatever, he felt that, okay, then I have Gemma. She's like the next best thing. And so I think that was one of the, he thought that, he was helping Gemma when he killed, because I don't think he knew that Tara wasn't going to tell him the club either, because by this time he wasn't really talking or dealing with the club, and Jack wasn't talking to him. So he didn't know either, I believe.
No, so, I don't think he did either.
That's when that happened. So he felt like he could have
miscommunication, got a lot of people killed in this series.
Yes, exactly. Period. Yeah, that's the whole point. So when he, helped clean up Tara's murder, he thought he had something there. He had a way back into Jackson's good graces. But come to find out, that's, you just dug yourself another hole. You really just met Mr. Mayhem when you did that.
Right.
And that was the whole thing. His whole, he was messed up already. He was, back to popping pills. He had that overdose and all of that stuff. Like, Juice was a wreck by this time. And so there was really no saving him at that point. But he was still so gun-ho on his loyalty. That's why he ended up going to jail, so he could get inside the jail to kill Lynn, the Asian leader of the Asian club, to kill Lynn. And he kept saying, this gets done. This gets done. I'm going to do this. This gets done.
But okay, my memory is messing with me. But wasn't he wasn't one of them on batting for the other team?
Huh?
Remember when he did, was it the scene when they were like in the infirmary or something where he was playing like he
yes,
was
girl, I am, and I will be reviewing that when it comes back too.
But what wasn't he playing like he was gay or whatever?
No, that's what he did.
I gotta go back. So my bad.
What that thing was about is he basically didn't want his ass whooped every time that they saw him or whatever. So it was basically like, he was just trying to deal with it the best he could until he was able to kill Lynn. And so when they came in one day, they all came in. And I think they was about to try to kill him. But then that's when he tried to act like, he was acting like he was on their side and going to do something for them. But he was just trying to buy his life until he was able to kill Lynn and whatnot. Because remember at some point, that is where Marilyn Manson, he was a guest star on the last season, and he was the leader of them and all of that stuff. You know, Marilyn Manson is the one who ultimately ended up killing Juice. So yeah, so Juice had to, fake, all of that and just allow them to just, have sex with him, just use his body up like that. But it's nothing else he could do unless it would have been torture for him in there a whole nother way. So he was just like, have at it. And that was the best he could do.
Okay. Yeah. I was like, because it's, like I said, I think I finished watching it maybe October, November last year. So some things is a little sketchy. So that's why I'm like, I'm ready to go episode for episode because everything will come back and be refreshed.
So Lady V, I think he was pretending to be into Marilyn Manson. Yeah, but he had no choice because he was basically being a double agent at some point, in order to buy the time that he needed, because he was in too deep with everything. Because Marilyn Manson's character, had that conversation with Jax. Remember when Jax came to see him in prison, and him and Jax set up that whole thing, and Jax told him basically, you killed Juice for me. When he found out that Juice helped Gemma do everything, because remember Juice ended up telling Jax everything that happened,
right?
Because he knows Juice asking him, and he just let it all out, and so that's where that came about to be. And that's when Jax paid a visit to Marilyn Manson's character and told him, okay, he told me everything, but you still do what you did. Now you got to meet Mr. Mayhem. So that is when he gave Marilyn Manson the okay and the go ahead to kill Juice. But Marilyn Manson still liked him some sweet Juice, because remember, like he said, but right before he killed him, he whispered in his ear, like, you were real sweet. And then he killed him.
All right, who we got next?
Oh, now this hurts. Rest in peace to Johnny Lewis. He also has passed since the ending of this show. Now, he played Half Sack, and he was what's the word? It started with a P. He was Prospect. He was a prospect. And he always had to do the most craziest, outlandish things for the club, because you have to do all that to get into the club. But he was so promising, and he would have been one hell of a member, because he died so Tara could live. Yes, poor little Half-Stack. Now that whole scene where the man comes and takes Abel and kills him and leaves Tara just distraught, that was hard. That was like one of the first scenes I was like, oh my God, this show is crazy. This is one of the first things that ever really got me, because this was like the first member or first character that died that was part of the show that you grew to love and knew so much about. So Half-Sack was really promising. He was really funny. He was very witty. He had a lot of fun scenes, and he would have been an awesome, loyal member to the club. He would have been so promising had he lived. But he was still loyal, because look what he did. He had, his life left, and so Tara could live. Period. He really stuck his neck out, his body out to that knife for Tara. So that's and it's like his character was short lived. No, it was only for 2 seasons, but he was very memorable, and I love me some Half-Stack. Yes, poor little Half-Stack. It's basically all you could say. And of course, we all know he has the word Half-Stack because he only has one nut.
Yeah. But then remember the episode where he talked about getting a prosthetic nut?
Yeah,
like they do with the dogs. So he just,
Yes, yes,
aesthetically
yes.
looked like he had two, but he only had one.
Too much. Yeah, that's what I'm like. The show at the beginning, there was a lot of funny moments in
A
this
lot
show
of funny moments.
before it just got straight gritty, and Halfsack is part of that. So that's why he had to be up on this roster because he gave that to us. So who we got next? We almost done. Oh, this one right here. Chief Wayne Unser. He is the chief of Charming Heights. He is basically very much affiliated with the Sons of Anarchy and on their payroll. And only that, dang it, Ellen V, why is you always missing you're not getting your notification? Yes, we've been up here for an hour and 25 minutes and you just talking. You're going to have to catch the replay because we went through everybody. And I think after Unser, we only got like one or two more. So, girl, yes, you late. I'm going to have to start inboxing you when I'm about to go live for Sons of Anarchy.
Because we're going to fire YouTube because she's not getting the notifications.
Right. Every time she come in, it says she late. But I'm going to start sending you a message or just be looking on my stories. Because, well, just know this. Every Monday at 10 o'clock Eastern time, have your ass here. Period. Every Monday at 10 o'clock Eastern time. So, Wayne Unser. Now, we all know and everyone knows that Wayne is madly, deeply in love with Gemma, and that will be his downfall to his demise. And I don't even know why. What it is about Gemma. What is it about Gemma? See,
Gemma got that fire.
Now, and he's loved Gemma since she was younger. I don't know how much younger, because that sounds a little on the PD side. But we ain't gonna say that.
Now look, Gemma old.
Gemma old too, yes.
Her and Unser might have went to high school together.
Unser older though. So I don't know. But yeah, so he's loved her since forever. He has many times throughout the series tried to resign as chief, but there was always something that would cause him to not do it, or he was forced to not do it. The Sons never wanted him to not be the chief because they had him in their back pocket, and they used that very much to their advantage when it came to doing a lot of stuff in Charming. Because basically the club ruled Charming. As long as Unser was chief, they knew that they could get away with just about any and everything. And they did. They basically did. But there comes a time where Unser was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I love Gemma. I can't sacrifice her. When Gemma killed Tara and Jax came to kill her, he was like, I can't let you do that. And that's why Jax had to do what he had to do in order to get to Gemma. So he really died for Gemma. Now, he loved her more than Clay did. Because Clay would never. Okay? But he did. And that episode right there, that was the episode before the final episode where that all happens up in the cabin in the garden and all of that stuff. Like, that was some gruesome stuff. I did not expect him to die that episode. YouTube is so disrespectful to us. Yes, that is exactly. That's what I'm saying. YouTube ain't ish. Let me stop before they cut me off.
Right. We're not going to talk about YouTube up here when we're trying to get monetized now.
Right. Let me stop. Let me quit. Hi, YouTube. How you doing? How your mama doing? But, so Unser, he plays the hell out of this role, and he is played by, Dayton Callie plays him. And he's just awesome. He does a lot of stuff too. He tries to do good for Charming, but when you associate it's like there's just no way that goes to prove very much so throughout the series for him. So shout out to Dane Callie, Wayne Unser. is the man. Okay, I think that I don't know if we got it. We got a couple more. Oh, now this man right here. This is Marcus Alvarez. Alvarez is the president of the Mayans MC that we now see on FX that is now rolling into its fourth season soon that we are waiting on. Yes, and so he has reprised his role on that as a full cast member. Now Alvarez and the Mayans, they are, a enemy club or rivalry club, what do you say, to the Sons of Anarchy. And they try to do things good together. He has respect for Jax, but still, they're a rivalry gang. So that still can't go too far. They try to do work together as far as looking out for each other because they're close. But, sometimes the Mayans and the Suns just don't meet eye to eye, period. Now, one thing that I was just blown away by him in this series is when he allowed the Suns to kill his son. And I think that happened in season 2, maybe season 1. Might have been season 1. If not, it was season 2. But to let the demise of his own son come, that's what really messed me up about Marcus. But I guess that's business. When you in the club and shit goes the way it do, it happens. But that was too much. I think his name was Ali or Eli, something like that. But but we'll see that in season 1 and season 2 when he gives the go ahead for the Suns to kill his only begotten son, y'all. But if y'all notice now in the Mayans MC, he now has 2 other children. So after his son died, he ended up having some more kids that we now see on Mayans MC. So, they're young kids, look like they're about 10 or younger. So they had to have had him like right after his son had died, and that's him. And I like Alvarez; he's really cool. He's cool, calm, and collected. He's a great leader, and he does a lot of good for his community and his crew and his club or whatever. But he's a rivalry of the Suns, so I can't love him, and that's the only reason we can't love him. Right. But Marcus Alvarez, president of the Mayans. Do we have anyone else? Of course, the man himself, y'all. The man himself. Otto, played by the creator of Sons of Anarchy, Mr. Kurt Sutter himself. The husband to Gemma in real life, Katie Segal. Now, Otto, oh my goodness, his character. There is so many things.
He played him so well.
Oh my goodness. Otto has it the worst about the whole entire series. 2 years ago, I started episode 1, got halfway through and turned it off. Last year, ran out of favorites to watch and tried again. This time I was hooked. Yes, Otto in the building. Now, Otto has Otto's whole entire time on the show, he is in prison. He is never out of prison this whole entire series, but he is very much a member of the Sons of Anarchy still. He's obviously in there for shit related to the Sons of Anarchy, but he's never ratted, never told. He took one for the team, basically. He took one for the team, and he stayed loyal to the club. 10 toes down, period. 10 toes down.
Yeah, and ain't his wife the porn star?
Yep, the girl, the first point, well, she wasn't a porn star. She owned a porn thing. She did do porn, but then she got her own production.
Right.
Yeah. God, what is her name? She did do porn for a minute, but then she got her own porn production. And remember, at some point, Bobby ended up sleeping with her. And that's when he started getting mad at the club because that whole thing happened and he let that whole thing go down. But Bobby ended up telling him what happened, but that still didn't negate the fact that he actually did that. And, that was a betrayal to him. What's her name?
Right.
Luann. That's her name, Luann.
Luann.
So Luann was the wife of Otto Delaney. And so she owned a porn production, whatever. She didn't want to do porn no more. And she was a producer. She had her own production. She used to. We never seen her do it, but she was, I don't ever want to go back to doing porn again. And and she started helping out the they needed a way to hide their money and keep their money clean. They helped her get her a place for her to start doing her production and everything. And so now she was basically in bed with the Sons now on her own accord because she was allowing them to use that as part of helping them keep their money clean so they can keep doing what they was doing. But then that little incident happened with Bobby and that all went crazy. And then there was another man who was associated. God, what is his name? Can't remember his name, but Tom Arnold played him, which was so weird to me that Tom Arnold would be in Sons of Anarchy playing this type of character because Tom Arnold is Tom Arnold. So it was really weird to see him. So that was a whole thing in bid. Tom Arnold's character was trying to take over Luann's production. A whole bunch of blackmailing and all of that jazz took place. But they eventually took care of him, of course. But so that was the thing. But Otto stayed loyal. Throughout his whole time, he lost his eye. And you see on the right, he has both of his eyes. And you see on the other side, one is gone. He was one of the rivals, yeah. But he only became a rival because he tried to take over Luann's production. He wasn't a rival until he got in their business. And that's what had happened was. Yeah. So, let me look it up. But so at some point, they ended up having to do what they had to do to him, and he ended up getting killed at some point. And that way Luann, but they only did that because they ended up killing Luann. And that's what had happened with her. She had died by the hands of some of his people.
But wasn't it the dude that was questioning them or something? His sister had got murdered or been involved with them, and he was the one that was facilitating all this bullshit that was happening to him.
I don't recall that. I don't remember all of that.
It was like some type of investigator. I gotta watch because this was like season 6 or 7, and there was like this attorney, some FBI agent, something or whatever. Remember the FBI agent that they killed? Or FBI. CIA, DEA agent, whoever that they killed.
They killed that. That was Fallon, who was at IRA.
Well, whoever was the agent that they got rid of, her brother is an attorney, and he was the one that set up Otto to get essayed by the.
Oh, you talking about? Oh, him. Okay, I thought you was talking about Tom Arnold. Okay, yeah. That's what happened. So yes, because when because that was the one he killed her with the necklace that Tara had brung, the cross that Tara had brung in of Luann's, and that's how Tara got all into the mix, and that's how she ended up going to jail because she was affiliated. Yeah, so that's how that happened. Yeah. But Marlo's character name was Georgie Caruso. That was his name. And so that's how that went. But yeah, when you're talking about that guy, he
And that's the one who got auto messed up.
Though he had got like discharged or whatever because he was flipping crazy and did some dirt inside of his job, and that's why they let him go. And he had just went off and did his own thing. He was faking like he was still
right.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was freaking crazy. That man.
Yes, he was certified.
Who's the ATF lady? Are you talking about Stahl or are you talking about the girl from season 7?
We talking about the girl who got murdered and her brother was the crazy dude.
No, she was a prison nurse.
Yes, the prison nurse that auto slashed.
Yeah.
When he was trying to extend his stay.
Yeah. So that was a whole entire mess. And that's how that whole bit came to be. And that's how Tara had got to jail because they was trying to, charge her for it because she did that. And she wasn't supposed to. And that was also kind of Otto's way of sticking it to the club too, because of all the things that he had done and how they had double crossed him. So he was trying to find a way to stick it to the club as well. And that was his leeway. So Tara fell right into that trap.
Man, it is so much shit to go through during these 7 seasons. It's a hot fucking homemade mess.
That it is. Okay, do we have anyone else? I think we have one more. No, that is it. That is it. I mean, there are so many more characters that we meet along the way, and it's going to be a lot. I can't wait for Stahl. I hate her, but when Stahl comes into the mix, that's a lot. When we finally get Nero coming in, he doesn't come until season 6, but I love his character played by Jimmy Smits. I love him.
Yeah, he was awesome. That was Jimmy little boo thing.
The scene where he was introduced, where she just wakes up in a stranger's place, like, Gemma, what is you out here doing?
Girl, she's living her best life.
Girl, but you don't even know where you waking up at.
Hey, look, now I ain't trying to tell on myself. But it's funny because them first 30, 60 seconds be a motherfucker when you wake up and be like, this ain't my house. But luckily, the only times I woke up and said, this ain't my house, it was somebody that I've been with numerous times, or we was together or whatever. I was just extremely drunk the night before. But in her particular case, it was like, Gemma, what the hell is you doing? You done woke up in a strange bed, and with all the skeletons in your closet and with all of the hate you got going towards your club, you don't need to be waking up in no stranger's bed.
Yeah, she was fighting. Gemma was straight up fighting.
She was thoughting and bopping, honey. And here's the thing: when you out here every day minding your own business, that's not a problem. But when you out here doing the type of dirt she doing, you involved with XYZ club, you don't need to be waking up in no stranger's bed.
Right. You could have been caught slipping
and got kidnapped and held for ransom and some more shit. She did
get caught slipping because this was even weird. Remember, Joel McHale ended up being a guest star for a couple of episodes. And remember, he had caught her slipping. And it was a lot that happened with Joel McHale when he was a guest star. And why was Joel McHale there? Like, you did the suit. I don't understand how. But, when you're an actor, you expand and you do this, you do that. But Joel McHale on that tripped me out when he was a guest star. But Joel McHale, like, he caught Gemma slipping good. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, and I hated him when he was guest starring on that. But he caught her slipping like a good one. Like he slipped her and Mickey for real. Period. But yes, so it's so many people that we have to meet along the way of these 7 seasons, y'all. And this is like the most exciting thing I have decided to do since I started blogging. So this is about to be my baby. And I'm so happy, Dina, that you decided to come and take this ride with me. Like, for real.
Girl, you know, I
Our
love
most
me some, like I said, I'll tell anybody in the beginning, I was like, what the hell is this? This biker, blah, 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 whatever. But honey, they had me at the first episode, like, oh girl, and Jerry Maguire, you had me at a hello. They had me at the first episode, and I was watching that shit. I was like addicted to the shit like crack. I was watching it every 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes I could get. I was watching it until I got to the end of the season.
who you know that when we get to Opie's death, that's when it's gonna start getting hard for me because that's when the demise after demise after demise after demise continues.
Uh-huh.
And that's why my sister said it's hard for her. She don't know if she can come take this ride. I really hope she do come in and take this ride. But it's about to be a hell of a ride. So y'all know anybody who watches this show, if y'all part of any Sons of Anarchy groups or whatever, please let them know that this is happening. And if they want to take this ride, come on, grab a helmet, gas up, because we going in.
We ready.
We ready. When Nero was introduced, I thought he was one of the club's enemies. You never, and that's the thing, you never know. You never know.
But see, Nero wasn't a club nemesis per se because he had calmed down and left the game. He was all about his money. And at the end of the day,
and his son, because he wanted the best for his son.
Yes, because at the end of the day, if you notice in any show you watch, excuse me, when you about your money and you have a purpose, your son, your organization, the help center, blah, 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 whatever, you don't care where you get the money from. He was done with his block, so to speak. So he was about the money.
He was a good man. He's a good dude. And I don't know, Gemma wouldn't have survived or had the mental capacity that she did if she wasn't him. Like he kind of saved her for a little bit, really. And that was a lot. That was a lot.
Oh, Lady V says we didn't introduce the lady at the hospital, Tara's boss. Do we not care about her?
Oh, we care about it. I just want to get everybody in the club sense first. Just the club people. But when we start the show, I'm gonna introduce the people that are gonna be part and affiliated for each season. That's how we're gonna do that. So every season that comes, I'm gonna introduce the people that are gonna be a main role or who are guest starring every season that we start. So yeah, so I hope y'all is excited who are in the chat to take this ride. This is about to be everything. I just cannot wait. I love this show. It's my favorite show in the entire world. I have took this ride about 4 or 5 times, but this is my first time recapping and reviewing. So that's why it's so special to me and different. And I'm probably going to cry when we do the finale. I ain't going to lie.
I love this show. I did. I didn't think I was going to like it because of the biker aspect of it, but I did love this show.
Yes, and now every time I see a biker club, I get so excited when I see them. Like, oh, I wonder what's their name and everything. So there's this guy, because I work at a hospital, and there is this guy who was a patient there, and he was part of a motorcycle club, and his club friends would come up to visit him, and they would come in their cuts and all of that stuff. And you know, when you're in the club, whatever, you all have a nickname. So every time I had to screen them in, I would put them in as a club name instead of a real name. And they had messed up names. And one of them name was Cheddar. I remember that. Cheddar was one of them. And I'm
Either
like,
he liked peas or he got money. I don't know.
right, one of the two. And they was all fine too. I ain't even gonna lie. And they were were they? I think they're either Mexican or Puerto Rican, and they was some fine poppies. I'm telling you. I was like, yeah, let me screen them in. I got them. And it was funny because like this past week, because after he ended up getting released from the hospital, whatever, I was sad. I was like, oh, I ain't gonna see him no more. But just this past week, he actually had to come in for a doctor's appointment in our professional building, and I seen him again. But his girlfriend broke him. He got a black girlfriend. I'm like, okay.
Okay, Pedro. Okay.
You know, I'm like, okay, so if y'all break up, that means I have a chance. No.
Amen.
Oh, Ellen V said, I saw the series twice, but Jackson, I fast forward the second time. I didn't want to relive it.
I was sad about that.
Opie's death, the gruesome way that Gemma killed Tara. Oh my God, I'll never look at a pitchfork the same again. Every summer barbecue, someone see a pitchfork, I think of Tara. Like, oh, I think of Gemma, like, oh my God. Like, oh, how can you? How? How do you do that to somebody? First, she tried to drown her in the water, in the sink water. And I don't know if it was clean water or not, but that was still gross. And then she just got to like, oh my God. Are you serious, Gemma? Like, you really did not want to get caught up. Like, you really wanted her there. You really wanted her there.
Well, you know, Gemma had that underlying hate for her for a long time.
Mm-hmm. I think it never really went away. She just suppressed it once, she married Jax and then had her grandson.
She was faking the funk.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is my son's girlfriend, wife, significant other, blah, 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 whatever. I am going to fake like it's all good. But the second that bitch step in the line, I'm going to check that hoe. And that's what she did.
Elvia says, I never saw it for Tara, so I was happy. What you mean you was happy? What made you happy? Heard that? But Opie made me cry every time. And it even broke my heart because, on my Instagram, I did pictures and information about each of the club members. If y'all haven't seen it, go to my Instagram and see it. And one of the pictures I put up for Opie was that final shot before that final blow. And I'm like, oh, why did I use that picture? But it's just.
But Opie was a G, though. Opie was real.
He was. G. Through and through. He definitely was. And that's why
because you're going to sit up here, it's like, I can take him. I can take him. And in the scene, Opie was getting with him till they pulled out them pipes.
Hold on. I am so sorry. I don't know what my mom was going on about.
But Opie could have got with him until they bust out them pipes.
Yeah, I didn't like Tara. I don't care that Jax loved her. I ain't like that. Dang, Ellen!
I'm not mad at Ellen because, like I said, I felt like in the beginning she was, trying to do some shady shit. And then it was like, oh, then I fell in love with this person.
But it wasn't that shady. I mean, compared to everything else on the show.
Well, compared to Gemma, nobody is shady. Everybody walking through the pearly gates and everybody is golden if you compare them to Gemma. If you compare them to Clay.
Girl. For real.
I'm just saying.
But, she could have did a lot worse. I mean, she could have actually went to CCH Pounder plays that character whom I love. Shout out to CCH Pounder, who played the Attorney General, I believe she did, is in the series at the end. But when she went to her, she could have so much to her. And I didn't like her at that point when she was trying to do the club like that. But she knew if she tried to leave, Jax would try to kill her. Jax would take the boys away from her. And when you a mother, that comes back to the whole desperate times calls for desperate measures.
Yep.
That's what that is, all over again.
But hey, they different from me because I am not above crushing some type of pill in a motherfucking drink, and by the time he wake up, I'll be in Mexico or Ireland or somewhere with no extradition treaty.
Facts. Boop. Okay. But okay, y'all. So that will do it for the Sons of Anarchy pre-show. We will be here Monday.
10 p.m. Oh, wait. What time is it?
10 o'clock. Would you want to make it 10 or 10:15?
Well, 10 o'clock your time, which is Eastern Standard Time. 9 o'clock my time. Excuse me. I got the fucking hiccups. Which is Central Standard Time.
Yes. So that is the boys, y'all. We are about to relive this crazy, dark, twisted, beautiful journey, and I could not be happier. You know, every time I watch it, I see something else or realize something else. I have a different theory about something else.
It's the things you miss.
Make sure you are here Monday at 10.
It's the things you miss, because even with current shows that I watch, I typically watch them 2 or 3 times. Because what if I missed something when I went to the bathroom? Or what if I missed something because my phone rang? But when I tell you to go back through these episodes and go back through these 7 seasons, and it's going to bring a whole new perspective too, because you watched it or 2 or 3 times, but every time you watch it, you pick up on body language, the text messages, the facial expressions. Every time you watch it, you pick up on something different.
Yes, and for me it is, you know, it's been 14 years since the show started, which means it's been about 7 years since the show ended. Mm-hmm. So as I watch it, as I get older and have a different mindset, I think of a lot of things differently every single time I watch, because I watch every year. And everyone knows the point that we started it in September is because Sons of Anarchy always started in September. Now, believe you me, I really did want to do this show on Tuesdays to pay respect to Teller Tuesday. But I wanted to have respect for the Mayans MC, because now they air on Tuesdays. And when they come back, I don't want to interfere to have to make us choose what to do, or else I would have to change the time. And I don't want to change the time. So that's why I'm doing it on Mondays. Don't think that I messed up by not doing it on Tuesdays. I know better. But however, if Mayans does end up ending before we finish this series, we will be going to Tuesdays at 10 o'clock. But for now, Mondays. Because we want to make sure the Mayans, and of course, I want to be able to review the Mayans. If y'all into the Mayans MC, I will be reviewing that when that comes back. So, and we know we've got Tig, we've got Happy. And one person I didn't have on here that I meant to was Happy. Happy. Now, Happy is a mug right there. Happy is just as crazy next to Tig. And it's funny because on one of the episodes, Tig says, you know what, you I'm Happy, because when we're together, I'm the normal one.
I remember that.
To say that means something. And Happy Loman is played by David LaBrava, who is an actual Hell's Angel. He's a real Hell's Angel. And that is one of the clubs that Kurt got to, you know, talk with and go along with when he started getting ideas for the show. There's actually 4 Hell's Angels that make an appearance throughout the show, and Happy is one of them. And when we get to the others, I'll let you know which ones those were. But and also another fun fact is Sons of Anarchy is actually a depiction of Hamlet in a motorcycle way. But the setting also is about the Andy Griffith Show, which is weird. Hamlet and Andy Griffith Show. Opie is actually named after the little boy on the Andy Griffith Show.
I love the Andy Griffith Show.
Yes.
Opie, Aunt B, Barney Fife. Yep.
And Unser, his character was actually supposed to be like the chief, the goofy chief on
Barney Fife.
On the show, on Griffith's show, but he decided to go into a different direction of the way his character was to go. So a lot of this stuff that you see is really from Hamlet and the Andy Griffith Show. What a combination. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a lot. So that is exactly 2 hours.
What a sprinkle of cops. I mean, we got the cops there. We got the drug activity. We got the kidnapping and the essay and the. So you got Andy Griffin and what was the other show?
Hamlet.
You said?
Hamlet.
So
Hamlet.
we got Andy Griffin, Hamlet, and Cops or First 48. I don't know.
Yes, and that's why this is just like the best in the world. I just love this show. So make sure y'all asses is here Monday night at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, because we will be doing the pilot, the very first episode where everything begins. So gas up and grab a helmet because it's about to go down. And if y'all know anyone that has watched this show, make sure y'all tell them what is going on because this is a once-in-a-lifetime honor. Who else is about to relive this show episode by episode?
Episode by episode. All
we
7
history right now, girl. You know that, right? We making history. We making YouTube history right now. This should be golden. Yes. This is about to be a thing. And I'm hoping the longer we go on, the more people that will come in. So please make sure y'all is telling people about this.
Because good news.
I know y'all can't be the only one that y'all never talked about it with nobody. Tell a friend and tell a friend.
Because good news travels fast.
You know how it go. So, Dina, where can everyone find you?
Y'all can hit me up at Dina, aka Christina, on Instagram, Christina Moore on Facebook, and Dina, aka Christina, on TikTok,
Twitter. Okay. So please make sure y'all like this video and subscribe. So and hit that notification bell so y'all don't miss. Make sure y'all subscribe to Dina, Miss aka Christina. She has a lot of amazing other things going on, as do I. But on that note, we will see all of you old ladies and crow eaters Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. It's going down. Thanks for watching, y'all. We out this nasty thing.